Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ben, this is Books with Benghis Khan, and today I have for you my 2023 TBR as chosen by you. So at the end of last year, I released a video with over 50 series, mostly fantasy and sci-fi, that I am interested in reading soon, but it's going to be a long TBR for many years, so I wanted some help prioritizing, and I was blown away by the amount of responses. I love seeing all the books and series you all are enthusiastic about. And it was a really cool mix of things that you wanted to see me read. And I have about 17 series that all got multiple votes, so 2 or more votes. And I thought, yeah, I'll put all those on my TBR. There should be enough space for those, as well as maybe some others that I want to fit in just for mood reading or for palate cleansers. So I wanted to show you what got the most votes first. And it was kind of a surprise. Did not expect this at all, but clearly way in the lead with 6 votes to read it was the 5 Warrior Angel series by Brian Lee Durfee. I have all 3 ready to go. I've loved watching Durfee's YouTube channel, but I think I'm going to wait until the summer when the last audiobook is out because I like doing it hybrid, and these are chunky ones, so doing it in print and audio will help me get through them, and I'm hoping to binge a lot of these. So this is going to be a few-week project doing this series of chunkers, but I'm really hopeful for them. The next 2 series tied for 4 votes each. And the first one is one I've been wanting to read for years. That is the Live Ship Trader series by Robin Hobb. I'm going to be doing a buddy read of this over the next 3 months with Colin's Corner. So starting next month, I'll be getting to this long-awaited series. In a huge surprise, one series that's kind of off the general fantasy fandom radar for me, so I was surprised it got 4 votes, was the Divine Cities trilogy by Robert Jackson Bennett. Bennett's been an author I've been wanting to try for years. This is the kick in the pants I needed to try a new fantasy author. And I'm just intrigued by this series, which is it's like a trilogy, but of standalones. Yeah, I don't really know much about it, so I'm going to dive in, hopefully, and be pleasantly surprised. The next one that got 3 votes was Cushil's Dart. I forget the name of this actual series. There's an initial trilogy, I think, and then a later trilogy. But Jacqueline Carey is supposed to be a really sophisticated fantasy author, and I'm excited to dig into something a little bit different than the norm. One that has been getting so much hype, which also got 3 votes for me to try it, and I can't wait, is The Grace of Kings by Ken Liu. I've loved some of the Ken Liu short stories I've read, and I can't wait to dive into his fantasy epic. And I know this first book's kind of like a history style with an omniscient narrator, and I'm reading Fire and Blood now by George R. R. Martin, really liking that style, so I think this is going to be a big hit. And then, one that I have been wanting to read for many years also got 3 votes, and that is Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn by Tad Williams. Here's the Dragonbone chair, and I enjoy that classic fantasy feel. I am really hoping this is going to be a big hit because Tad Williams has written a lot, and even if it's just the epic fantasy stuff that I love of his, there's a lot of that in the Ostenard saga, so very high hopes for this one. Alright, now all the books that got 2 votes. Here is the Guards or City Watch series of Discworld. Guards itself, I think, got called out twice, and that is the next Discworld I was planning to read after being kind of underwhelmed by Mort, but really want to get into the City Watch Discworld books. And then Codex Alera. Jim Butcher's one of my favorite authors with the Dresden Files. I am so curious what he's going to do in a more classical, epic fantasy style setup. So, very interested. Try out that. And also to hear Kate Redding's audio narration at the same time for something that is not the Cosmere. A trilogy, the Winnowing Flame trilogy. The Ninth Reign is the first book by Jen Williams. Don't know much about this, but it seemed like it was up my alley, being a little faster paced, lots of creative world building around animals. So, excited to try it. And then one that has been an absolute priority for me for a while, that is The Greenbone Saga by Fonda Lee. Everyone's been talking about this for years. I want to get in on that conversation, and I am very hopeful that it will work well. One that I am almost certain will work great for me is The Long Price Quartet by Daniel Abraham. I loved The Expanse, which was co-written by Abraham. I am super pumped to get into his solo written fantasy. It's supposed to be really well plotted with great payoffs over long periods of time. And here's the entire Long Price Quartet in this omnibus. So can't wait to try this out. Another one I was surprised got multiple votes was the Rook and Rose series. That's right. This is The Mask of Mirrors by M.A. Carrick, which I think also might be a pseudonym for a duo of authors, but I don't know who they are. I don't know much about this series yet. But Chaz really loves it, and book 3 is coming out later this year, so it actually would be great timing for me to read this one this year and see if I really like it, and then get into the series and have the 3 books to read. I don't know how long it's planned to be, though. And then one that is so divisive that I am so intrigued to try is the Nevernight series by Jay Kristoff. People seem to either truly love Kristoff or really bounce off of him hard, so excited to try this popular modern fantasy author and see where I fall on that spectrum. Another one that has a similar kind of reaction in the fantasy fandom is Brian McClellan, who I've never tried yet. This is Promise of Blood with the Powder Mage series. As a disciple of Brandon Sanderson, I have high hopes that he'll write a lot of this in the similar vein of what I love from Sanderson, but maybe a little grittier. And I do love a Napoleonic War setting with muskets and rifles, so I do have high hopes for this series. One that is another divisive one, but I'm excited to try it as something a little different, is The Books of Babel by Josiah Bancroft. I have all of these ready to go. I'm confident the audio narration will be solid. I'm familiar with the narrator, John Banks, and yeah, just so curious what's going on with these, because they get such a mixed reaction as well. And then one that I am super hyped for because I love this author, Adrian Tchaikovsky, but have only read his fantasy series, Shadows of the App so far, and a Novella Ogres, all that I've loved. Can't wait to try his sci-fi. This is Children of Time. I think it's complete as a trilogy now, with the last book recently coming out, so pumped to see if I like it, and then I'll have a bunch of books in this series of his to go through. And finally, I really just want to make my way through all of this author's works, but kind of don't know where to go next. But now I have the kick to go into the Troy trilogy by David Gemmell. These are his last published works that his wife finished off the 3rd book in the trilogy after he passed away, and I love reading about ancient Greece. I am very hopeful this is going to be a huge hit for me. Thank you all for your votes. If you didn't see your picks in here, I did register those, and I will definitely be getting to all of those within the next couple years at least. But this is a nice chunk to get me through the rest of this year. And I know Colton, one of my great commenters, is so high on some urban fantasy series, so I just wanted to shout out that I will probably be trying to get into some new urban fantasy series as palate cleansers. Here's Monster Hunter International by Larry Correia. Here's the Alex Verus books by Benedict Jacka. So I'm definitely going to try to use these as kind of palate cleansers between some of these big, chunky, heavy series. All right, so that's most of what's on deck for me. I'm also going to be continuing A Song of Ice and Fire. I just finished A Clash of Kings. I'm in Fire and Blood now. I'll probably be reading Storm of Swords soon. And yeah, don't know what else I'll be doing besides probably finishing up the Sharp series. But I'll probably be looking for little things to fill in here and there, and maybe some new releases from last year and new releases from this year, like Tyranny of Faith, which I want to get to soon, and Philip Chase's book, The Way of Edan, I want to read and get on that hype train from the beginning, and I hope it's good. So yeah, that's what I'm planning to read in 2023, and tell me what you're excited about, what you're excited to see, and how it goes for me, and I'll catch you later.